Have you ever felt like you're on the verge of collapse with life about to crumble around you? We've all been there. The daily chaos, the feeling of always being one step behind, trying to balance everything, but deep down, knowing something is out of place. Disorganization, whether emotional, mental, or even physical, can turn into a nightmare. If you don't get organized, if you don't take the reins of your life now, soon everything you've built could come crashing down, and you'll find yourself in the middle of the mess you allowed to grow. But the good news is that you can turn this scenario around, and you don't need to wait for everything to fall apart before acting. The power to change your life is in your hands. Through small daily actions, you can start organizing your mind, your time, your finances, your relationships, and, above all, your life. The question is, are you willing to push yourself to take the first step, even if it seems small? Change doesn't happen when we wait for a grand revelation, but when we decide, with courage and discipline, to organize our actions and thoughts. In this video, we'll talk about how a lack of organization can destroy your life, but we'll also explore how small acts of discipline, aligned with Stoic philosophy, can not only save your life, but transform it. So if you're ready to take control, to finally put your life in order and prevent it from crumbling, stick with me until the end. And while you watch, think about what you can start changing now, in the present moment, to ensure your life follows the path to success and tranquility. Now, I want to hear from you. What in your life do you feel needs organizing to prevent chaos from taking over? Write it in the comments and share your journey. Topic 1. The challenge of facing personal chaos. Life often leads us down a turbulent path where the feeling of being lost in chaos seems to be a constant. You wake up, and right away, a whirlwind of thoughts, obligations, and responsibilities floods your mind. Everything feels out of control, doesn't it? What used to be small daily demands have now turned into a monster that grows with every passing minute. Your mental health starts to suffer under the pressure. Your relationships begin to wither, and your career, once promising, now feels like a silent battlefield. Personal chaos isn't just a reflection of external circumstances, but also of internal disorganization. When your mind isn't organized, the world around you crumbles too. Stress, anxiety, and a sense of helplessness take over, leaving you wondering, how long can this last? However, the greatest danger of chaos lies not in external circumstances, but in how it deeply affects your way of thinking and reacting. When your mind gets lost in the midst of so much disorder, your decisions become impulsive, and your emotions, in turn, become uncontrollable. Emotional control, a key Stoic virtue, feels like a distant skill you no longer know how to practice. Automatic reactions take over, and you find yourself swept away by the waves of life, directionless. Mental disorganization creates a vicious cycle of uncontrolled reactions that only amplify the chaos. If you don't stop to look inward with attention and introspection, you risk getting completely lost in this whirlwind. And how do you know if your life is truly falling apart? Don't wait for everything to break before acting. The first warning sign is a constant feeling of being overwhelmed. If you often catch yourself saying, "I can't take it anymore," or feel like you're always playing catch-up, it's time to pay attention to these signals. This is a clear indication that internal chaos is taking over. The good news is that you can break this cycle at any moment. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in mastering the mind and emotions, in cultivating self-control and mental discipline. But to do this, you must first acknowledge the chaos. Admitting that your mind is out of control is the first step toward finding inner peace. But how do you organize the chaos and restore order to your life? That, my friend, is what we'll explore next. Why disorganization leads to collapse. Disorganization is like a small, invisible virus that slowly erodes the foundation of what you've built. At first, it may seem harmless, maybe a pile of papers here, a neglected plan there, and suddenly, you're ignoring small details. But these details are like cracks in a foundation. A lack of daily planning may seem like a minor issue, but over time, these small oversights turn into big problems. Chaos begins to seep into your decisions, thoughts, and actions. And before you know it, what seemed like simple clutter has taken on catastrophic proportions. The absence of mental organization creates fertile ground for mistakes, and each failure piles up, feeding a snowball that can easily turn into a collapse. When you fail to plan properly, your choices become more impulsive and less conscious. The growth mindset, so vital for success, starts to fade. This reflects in every area of your life. At work, where tasks pile up unfinished. In relationships, where promises and commitments are forgotten. And even in your health, neglected due to a lack of time to care for yourself. The impact of disorganization goes far beyond the physical environment, striking at the core of your productivity and happiness. And how do you prevent these small mistakes from turning into big problems? The answer lies in mental reprogramming. To keep disorganization from becoming a factor in collapse, you need to adopt Stoic practices, like daily reflection, to examine your actions and correct course when necessary. By focusing on what's within your control and letting go of what isn't, you create a more balanced life where mental order reflects in external order. Don't let mistakes pile up and take control. Start now by planning consciously, focusing on small daily victories. This will create a massive impact, not only in your practical life, but also in your emotional well-being. And remember, success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Mental organization is the fuel that carries you through the long journey. The reluctance to organize, the fear of effort. It's fascinating how the human mind can deceive itself. Often, we know we need to organize our lives, that the disorder is affecting us, yet there's an internal resistance that stops us from acting. This fear of effort is one of the most common traps that holds us back. It's as if an invisible force whispers, "Leave it for tomorrow," or "This can wait." Procrastination, my friend, is a direct reflection of fear. Not the fear of failure, but the fear of the effort required to achieve order. The mind rebels against mental discipline, creating excuses, rationalizing delays, and making the effort seem bigger than it really is. This procrastination cycle is insidious. It starts with small choices that seem harmless, but over time, pile up and become an overwhelming burden. The resistance to organizing life isn't just about physical or material tasks. It's about the discomfort of changing old habits, of confronting the internal mess we carry, whether in thoughts or emotions. In Stoicism, the concept of effort is fundamental. True Stoic virtue lies in doing what's necessary, even when you don't feel like it. Self-control, mental discipline, and radical acceptance of effort are paths that lead to freedom. By organizing, you're not just ordering the external world, but also shaping your inner self. Overcoming resistance to effort doesn't require a massive burst of willpower, but rather a small daily step. The key is to start, no matter how simple it seems. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it." Organization doesn't demand perfection, but consistency. Start with something small, like tidying your desk or planning your day with clarity. Each small action is a victory against internal resistance. And over time, you'll notice that the effort, once seemingly unbearable, becomes natural. The fear fades, and what once felt like a mountain of tasks transforms into a gentle path of possibilities. The power of order. How organization transforms your life. Order has an almost magical transformative power. It doesn't just create a clean and functional physical space. It also organizes the mind and emotions. Imagine your mind as a cluttered room. When you enter, everything feels chaotic, disordered, and your attention scatters. But when you start putting things in their proper place, a sense of clarity emerges. The space becomes more inviting, and your mind, in a way, begins to align. True organization isn't just about tidying things up, but about giving purpose and direction to each one. Just as order in the external world brings harmony to the home, mental organization brings harmony to life. When you organize your life, you start to notice immediate benefits. Mental clarity is one of the first fruits you reap. When you eliminate chaos, both external and internal, your focus strengthens. You become more productive because you can now concentrate on the tasks that truly matter. More than that, you begin to cultivate inner peace, a sense of control. This is a direct reflection of the Stoic virtue of maintaining serenity in the face of a storm. True freedom comes when we manage to bring order to our environment and mind, creating a space where tranquility and emotional control become accessible with every breath. Great leaders and successful people, like Tim Ferriss and Marie Kondo, talk about the power of organizing not just the space, but the mind. They understand that the environment you create around you directly shapes the environment within you. By putting your life in order, you give yourself the chance to grow. Examples of this are the stories of people who, by implementing daily organization and reflection practices, completely transformed their reality. The key here is consistency. Organization isn't a one-time fix, but a daily practice. Each simple action, like a to-do list or organizing your schedule, builds upon the last, creating a solid foundation for your life. And this, little by little, reflects in every aspect of your journey: personal, professional, and emotional. Setting priorities. What really matters? Amid the chaos of daily life, it's easy to get lost in tasks and commitments, neglecting what truly matters. How many times have you found yourself doing things out of habit or worse to please others? The feeling of being busy all the time but not making progress on what truly makes a difference in your life is more common than you might think. Stoicism, with its emphasis on self-control and daily reflection, teaches us an important lesson. True freedom comes when we can distinguish what's urgent from what's important. Setting priorities is a vital skill for organizing your life effectively and achieving lasting success. When you start reflecting on your priorities, you realize that many of the things you worry about don't carry the depth you thought they did. Endless work, social expectations, small daily tasks, all of these can consume your energy and time. However, if you stop to ask yourself, what really matters to me? What is truly essential? You'll start making wiser choices aligned with your goals. The mental discipline that Stoic philosophers advocate allows us to cultivate a clear mind, capable of separating what's fleeting from what holds genuine value. By setting priorities, you align with your deeper purpose, and that's what brings true success, not momentary distractions. Setting priorities doesn't mean abandoning everything that's not essential, but rather dedicating more time and energy to what truly contributes to your personal growth, happiness, and the well-being of those around you. Time management techniques, like the Eisenhower matrix, can be useful tools for organizing tasks based on their urgency and importance. Remember, the real secret lies in focusing your energy on what matters and not getting lost in actions that merely fill time. By doing this, you not only organize your external life but also create a focused, resilient mind aligned with what's essential. The impact of disorganization on personal relationships. Disorganization doesn't just affect your professional life or finances. It also impacts your most intimate relationships. Internal chaos reflects in external behavior, and this manifests in how you relate to others. When your life is disordered, your energy is consumed by mental overload, leaving you unable to be fully present for those around you. The lack of emotional and mental organization creates an invisible distance, where you start neglecting what matters most: your emotional connections. The time spent on work, excessive tasks, or even digital distractions often takes the place of what should be dedicated to nurturing your relationships. These gaps in attention and presence can slowly erode your relationships. That family gathering you didn't have time for, the friend you left waiting, the partner who feels you're not truly listening. These are the silent signs that disorganization is harming your ability to connect with others. Stoicism teaches us the importance of cultivating self-control and emotional balance, and this includes how we manage our relationships. By learning to organize your mind and emotions, you gain the clarity needed to be truly present with others, offering support, care, and genuine attention. The key to restoring harmony in relationships lies in taking responsibility for your emotional disorganization. By applying Stoic practices of introspection and mental discipline, you can start clearing the inner space that prevents authentic connection. Techniques like mindfulness and conscious communication are essential for improving the quality of any relationship. By reducing automatic reactions and adopting a more deliberate, calm approach, you create an environment of mutual respect, trust, and intimacy. It's not just about organizing what's around you, but reorganizing your emotional world so that relationships can flourish in fertile ground of understanding and harmony. Time management, the turning point for organization. Time is the only truly limited resource we have, and paradoxically, it's the most neglected. We've all felt the frustration of racing against the clock, trying to do everything at once, never achieving that desired balance. When time management is disorganized, the feeling of always being late or overwhelmed becomes constant. The secret to escaping this trap lies in realizing that time shouldn't be something you simply lose, but something you organize and shape, like a master craftsman sculpting raw material. By learning to manage your time, you not only gain more hours in your day, but also gain control over your life. Effective time management begins with recognizing that most of us waste time on tasks that don't contribute to our growth. Whether it's excessive work, digital distractions, or pointless worries, time slips away like sand through your fingers. However, when you start setting clear priorities and organizing your activities based on what truly matters, you move closer to the freedom we all seek. Simple time management techniques like the Pomodoro method or creating focus blocks help transform the sense of being out of control into efficient productivity. And, as Stoicism teaches, it's not what happens to you that defines your life, but how you choose to react to it. Organizing your time is one of the keys to mental transformation. When you create space for what's important and eliminate what's superficial, you start noticing significant changes in your energy, focus, and even emotional well-being. By doing this, you become more effective, calmer, and, most importantly, more present in all areas of your life. And don't be fooled. True time management isn't about doing more things, but about doing the right things. By adopting a more conscious and deliberate approach to your time, you take control of your life, turning a finite resource into a powerful ally for your success. Financial disorganization, the personal economic collapse. Financial disorganization is one of the most insidious forms of chaos, as it directly affects a person's security and emotional well-being. Money, often seen as an extension of our power and freedom, becomes a source of anguish when poorly managed. When you don't have control over your finances, stress begins to build, bringing constant worries about debts, bills to pay, and the feeling of always playing catch-up. As Stoicism teaches, we must accept that not everything is within our control, but how we react to challenging financial situations is a choice we can make. True strength doesn't come from the absence of financial problems, but from the ability to handle them intelligently and with self-mastery. A lack of financial planning doesn't just affect your bank account, it also erodes your mental and emotional health. The stress caused by disorganized finances can lead to chronic anxiety, insomnia, and even relationship issues. The self-control needed to manage money responsibly is a Stoic virtue that, when cultivated, brings incredible transformative power. As with many areas of life, the key to overcoming financial disorganization lies in taking small, conscious steps every day. Creating a budget, saving regularly, and understanding your cash flow aren't complex tasks, but they require discipline and consistency, something Stoicism teaches perfectly. But where to start? The answer lies in taking the first step, creating a clear and achievable financial plan. Set goals, organize your finances, and start paying off debts with focus and patience. The most important thing is not to let the magnitude of the task paralyze you. Just as Stoicism teaches us to focus on the present, financial organization requires you to manage the present moment wisely, without getting lost in fear of the future. By doing this, you create a solid foundation for your well-being and a more peaceful life. True wealth isn't in your bank balance, but in the control you have over your finances, and more importantly, over yourself. The organized mind, how mental clarity predicts success. An organized mind is the foundation upon which success is built. When your mind is clear, you can see opportunities more accurately, make better decisions, and act with more confidence. Mental clarity doesn't come by chance, but through the constant practice of internal organization. If you allow yourself to be consumed by the chaos of daily life, your ability to see clearly is impaired. The mind needs space to breathe, to focus on what's important. Just as a field needs preparation for seeds to grow, your mind needs organization for your ideas and actions to bear fruit. Mental organization is the first step toward achieving any goal. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control external events, but we can control how we react to them. This also applies to our mind. By creating an organized inner space, You gain the ability to respond to challenges with calm and wisdom. Practices like introspection, meditation, and daily reflection are essential for cultivating this state of clarity. With an organized mind, you develop mental resilience that allows you to stay focused, even when the winds of adversity blow hard. This clarity is what separates those who fail from those who succeed, because when the mind is free of clutter, action becomes more effective. Thus, by organizing your mind, you're not just creating an inner space of peace, but also preparing yourself to achieve what you desire. Every small action you take, every conscious decision you make, builds toward your goals. Mental organization is the fuel that powers your journey, because without clarity, there's no direction. To achieve success, you need a mind free of clutter, focused on the right actions, and with energy channeled productively. This clarity isn't achieved overnight, but through the constant practice of reorganizing your thoughts and actions, day after day, with mental discipline. How small organizational actions create big results. Sometimes, the secret to transforming your life lies in the small actions you take every day, those that seem insignificant but have a profound impact over time. When you dedicate yourself to organizing a little each day, the cumulative effect is immense. Small steps, like tidying your desk, setting your schedule clearly, or planning your day strategically, may seem trivial, but they create a solid foundation for great achievements. Stoicism teaches us that great deeds don't happen all at once, but are built through consistent, focused effort. The discipline of organizing your environment and daily actions is, in fact, what prepares the ground for true greatness. Many people believe transformation requires big changes, but true change happens in the details, in the small, daily victories. When you commit to creating organizational habits, whether at work, in your studies, or in your personal life, you start to notice that chaos is no longer a constant presence. What once seemed like a tangle of tasks and responsibilities becomes a set of clear, simple actions with purpose. Each completed task, no matter how small, reinforces your confidence in your ability to organize and execute. Over time, these small actions accumulate, creating big results. The secret is not to underestimate the power of small choices. With time, consistency in small actions turns into great achievements. It's not the pursuit of grand deeds that creates success, but dedication to the process. Organizing your life isn't a one-time task, but a set of daily actions that together produce lasting results. And the impact goes far beyond your external achievements. By organizing your inner and outer world, you begin to create a strong, disciplined mind capable of facing any challenge. It's the power of small actions, when done with consistency and intention, that creates true mental and emotional transformation. Disorganization and stress. The vicious cycle that can break you. Disorganization and stress have a symbiotic relationship, where one feeds the other, creating a vicious cycle that's hard to break. When your life is disorganized, chaos takes over your mind, and the mind, in turn, responds with stress. Stress, as we know, is one of the greatest enemies of mental and emotional health. It weakens the body, reduces mental clarity, and impairs your ability to make effective decisions. Thus, disorganization creates fertile ground for stress to grow. Each day you delay organizing your tasks, feelings, and responsibilities, you contribute further to this destructive cycle. Anxiety begins to dominate your mind, and with it, your life becomes a whirlwind of automatic reactions and disjointed thoughts. This vicious cycle doesn't just affect your productivity, it also interferes with your emotional well-being. Constant stress drains your mental and physical energy, leaving you exhausted and unmotivated. Self-control, essential for maintaining order, begins to slip away. The mind rebels, making impulsive and harmful decisions. However, the good news is that this cycle can be broken, and the first step is to sever the link between disorganization and stress. By starting to organize your life and mind, you begin to reduce the mental load, eliminating the stress that's built up over time. As Stoicism teaches, the answer to adversity isn't in waiting for circumstances to change, but in how you choose to react to them. Breaking this cycle requires consistency and deliberate action. Organizing your mind and space is the key to restoring emotional balance. Start with small changes, like setting a routine, prioritizing tasks, and stepping away from unnecessary sources of stress. The daily practice of mental and emotional organization not only relieves immediate stress, but also creates an inner space of resilience. By cultivating an organized mind, you gain control over your reactions, reducing the impact of stress. Gradually, you'll notice the vicious cycle unraveling, replaced by clarity, calm, and confidence. The first step to organizing your life. Start now. The biggest barrier to organization is often the simple act of starting. When we look at everything that needs to be done, the mountain of tasks can seem insurmountable. We feel paralyzed, as if the effort required is too great to face. However, the secret lies in taking the first step. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or ideal motivation. The first step, no matter how small, is the key that unlocks the path to transformation. In Stoicism, action is seen as the antidote to procrastination and fear. Instead of getting lost in thoughts and worries, Stoic philosophers teach us to act with what we have, now, in the present moment. Success doesn't begin with a grand event, but with a daily decision to commit to organizing your life. When you decide to start, no matter how small the step, you break the inertia holding you back. Sometimes, organization begins with something simple: tidying a corner of your desk, writing a to-do list, or taking time to reflect on what needs to change. The important thing is to begin, and it's in this movement that the mind starts to organize. The self-control needed to create a more ordered life doesn't come from a grand epiphany, but from repetition and daily practice. The mental discipline that Stoic philosophers value so highly is born from consistent, conscious effort, done continuously without grand expectations of perfection. Each small organizational action you take puts you on a path of transformation. And even when challenges arise, don't give up. Remember that success is a continuous process, made of daily progress, not grand, rare achievements. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you. By taking the first step, you're preparing for the great transformation. Organization isn't something that happens all at once, but a practice refined over time. By continuing to act with consistency, you'll see that, little by little, your life begins to align more clearly and orderly. The emotional control, mental discipline, and resilience you build along this journey will be the pillars upon which your life is rebuilt. Now that you have the tools and understanding of what needs to be done, the next step is to put it all into practice. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but about being consistent. The power of organization doesn't come from grand gestures, but from the small actions you take every day. By organizing your life, mind, and emotions, you not only eliminate chaos, but also prepare for success, inner peace, and a more balanced future. Now it's up to you. What will you change starting today? What small steps can you begin taking to put your life in order? Don't put off until tomorrow what you can start organizing today. After all, the future you desire depends on the choices you make in the present. If this video resonated with you and you're ready to start your transformation journey, write in the comments how you'll apply these concepts to your life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to keep learning how to become the best version of yourself. Remember, change starts with you. Let's embark on this transformation journey together.